Yeah, greetings out there. This is David Dread of Steel Pulse, and right now you're tuning to Ajabu Africa. Overstand me, no man. Yeah, I'd love to go to Kenya, man. I don't know why it's taking us so long to get there.
Did you hear what he said, Sydney? Okay, Mr. Hyde.
Hinds.
Hinds. Hinds.
Hinds.
Do you just sing just a few lines of your favorite hit?
A what?
Just a few lines of the hits you like the most, your all-time best?
So many of them. Rally round the flag, rally round the red, gold, black and green.
Wow.
When soldiers came, they said they come to make us tame. From that day till now on, we were jeered and laughed to scorn. To be irate, things used to be nice and nice now. When the soldiers came.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right.
That's so awesome. You have an amazing voice.
What drives you when composing your songs?
Oh, so much inspiration. I mean, the initial inspiration that got me into the mode of writing in the first place is the experiences I was having as a youth, reading those grassroots magazines in the ghetto. When it came to political issues, especially what was happening in America, and then me comparing the situation of the black man in America to the situation that was happening in England at the time, and I saw that they were very much running parallel, along with Bob Marley's music, which was educating us from his Jamaican standpoint. I thought it was necessary for myself and ourselves as a band collectively to put together the music to air our views from, you know, our British standpoint.
Why did you choose this genre of music? Do you enjoy other genres of music as well? If yes, which ones?
That's a good question. I enjoy all genres of music, but when it comes to the message and delivering the message, when it comes to the awakening people to the reality that's around them, reggae music to me is by far the best vehicle for that, because it's all about a beat that goes hand in hand with the way the heart beats, and from the heart is all about life, and you know the beat enhances the lyrical content of the song, and that's why I think reggae is to me the best vehicle, despite the fact I like all other genres. Reggae is the best vehicle for me when it comes to delivering a message.
In the initial stages of your career, what would you cite to have been your challenges?
Challenges?
Yes, please.
There was a lot of setbacks in the day. One of the challenges at the time was trying to convince the actual Caribbean contingents that were actually born in England, or those who derived from Jamaica many decades ago, four or 5 decades ago, trying to convince them back in the day that reggae music can be established in England also. That was one of the challenges. Another challenge was trying to get reggae music played on national radio. So those were the two main challenges, really, when it came to us trying to establish the music in Britain.
When you were getting to stage, there's the costumes you wear.
Oh.
So what do you wear to stage? Why do you do it? Is it inspired by something?
Initially, when we dressed for our stage attire, our stage format, it was all to do with it was almost like in a choreographical kind of a way, where we sort of try to dress according to the songs we were delivering. For example, when we started to do Ku Klux Klan as a song, we had a few band members literally going out there dressed in Ku Klux Klan outfits, and with myself and say the keyboard player battling with them, showing that there's this antagonism going on. And it was our way of trying to express ourselves according to which song we were delivering. But we sort of drifted on over the years. I mean, after a while, there's certain songs and certain styles of dress to suit sort of played out, and we moved on to other issues that were more pressing.
I beg to request to touch your hair when I ask the next question. Can I do that?
It's taboo, but go ahead.
Yeah. This is the one. This is the one I knew, but I knew you when it was like.
Well, this is it. This is it. But it's changed direction now. That's all.
Yeah, I knew it when it was.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be taking a picture with this one because I had to really examine it.
You know what? We don't touch the what's the
You wanna touch your hair too? You don't mind for me?
Your spirit is good. You can knock yourself out here, Linda. Don't
Okay. My question here is, your hair is a signature to the band. Like the band, steel band.
Okay.
Your hair is a signature to the band. Is it part of you, or is it part of your stage costume?
It's part of me. I mean, whether I was on stage or not, it's me. You know, it's my fingerprint. Everybody got their own identity, and you know, this is my template. This is all about me. You know, it's all based on your hair type. You know, different dreads and different Rasta men grow their hair differently. It depends on the type of hair. You know, with my particular case, my hair type, and also the kind of hat I was wearing at the time, which sort of worked its way. You know, my dreads worked their way into the shape of the hat, and then initially, you know, it started taking its own shape. And this is where it's derived at right now.
For how long have you had it?
Coming on, it's over 30 years now. You were in diapers then.
Oh yes. 30 years. I was 12 years old by then.
Okay.
It's been some time since you adopted your stage name. What do you think of it now?
I still love the name. It still stands for what we're about. When it was initially suggested to us through the bass player that we had at the time, it was all about trying to find the hardest beat, or the hardest, to relate ourselves to the hardest metal of the day, which was steel. And you know, the pulse was always to do the beat, and it was all about having a very hard beat at the time. You know, something that was tough and energetic, and we just went through so many different names, and Steel Pulse fit the bill.
Have you ever been to Africa?
Quite a few times.
Do you want to list the number of countries you have been to in Africa?
I've been to our first appearance in Africa was 1982, when we performed in Nigeria. Did a few dates. It wasn't as successful as how we wanted it to be, but what was successful was us bonding with the African people at the time. There was a lot of setbacks as far as the way things were arranged with the promoter at the time, but we wouldn't hold that against Nigeria. We were only too glad to be there at the time. And it was an electrifying experience for us. And then our next time there was Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, and we've done dates in Senegal and also Ghana. I've made personal visits to Gambia, and I've been in transit in Kenya as well. I'd love to go to Kenya because it's so much different. East Africa just has a different feel to West Africa.
Did you perform in Kenya?
Not yet.
Because there's no way I could have missed that one.
Have you been to North Africa?
Yes, Morocco. That's right. Yeah, Morocco. Been to Morocco and Morocco and Morocco. We've been trying to get through to other places like
Tunisia,
Egypt and Algeria, because there's a lot of Algerians in France, and
Sure.
Steel Pulse has a lot of Algerians that support us there. So it'd be nice to hit Algeria as well, because I'm sure the music is there too. But that's as far as we've been, as far as Africa is concerned.
We've talked too much about Steel Pulse, but as you might be aware, your music and reggae in general has a religious following in the entire continent of Africa.
Okay.
The continent has one common prop, there's one common problem: bad governance.
Okay.
Given a chance, what would you tell the African leaders?
Wow. It's hard to tell leaders that are set in their own, in their own ways. And one of the things I would say to African leaders, because one of the main ingredients that have dictatorship, a lot of it at the time is to do with tribalism, where one tribe, votes in the other tribe, so to speak, and it's ruled in that way. And I think what Africa needs to do is abandon tribalism and also the status between the rich and the poor, and sort of amalgamate on a different level, where and also try to be really totally supportive of the Organization of African Unity, which was founded by Imperial Majesty Kwame Nkrumah, all the others, and I think we should really stick to the plan, make Africa be a unit and make it be competitive amongst the world right now, and that's desperately needed. None of this being in power for 10, 20, 30 years, and it's not working. After a while it backfires on the people, and that's my suggestion.
The life of an artist is quite tiring, tedious, involving. How do you unwind?
One of the ways I unwind, I like watching movies. I watch movies, I read books, I go out and meet people and trying to get involved. I try to, I get off on trying to teach little children about life, and if they're interested in instrumentation, learning an instrument like guitar or something like that, I like to always try to share the knowledge that I do have. So those are the things I like to do. I like to watch movies, read, and just hang out. I'm a bit of a handyman as well, so into DIY, do-it-yourself, carpentry and things like that. But I won't touch electricity and I won't touch plumbing. But everything else, tiling, you name it. Kitchens, I do all that when I'm ready. There's so many things I do, but I won't touch electricity or plumbing.
Wow.
Don't want to drown, I don't want to be electrocuted.
By the way, do you ever listen to your music?
Sometimes. I've got this thing where once I bond with the music, after it's released, I tend to shy away from it and let the public decide, and I sort of move on to a different experience, both musically and also lyrically.
Has there been an embarrassing moment in your career during stage performance? And if I know there must be a couple, which one was the most embarrassing moment while on stage?
I can't think of any right now. Wow. I can't think of any right now.
The most embarrassing.
That's a very good question. I can't think of any right now. Because tonight, for example, could have been an embarrassing moment for me. I mean, there was water on the stage. I've already got shoes on that were quite slippery, and I could have went pow, but it didn't happen. There have been embarrassing moments where I'm about to make a very important statement and then the mic gets cut off or something like that. But I guess that happens to everybody, so it's like a non-event really. I can't bring anything to mind right now. I mean, I fell back on a monitor or so, but I managed to pick myself up and look the business. So, there's nothing that's been far removed where I go back and embarrassing moments. I can tell you what leaves me on stage is when we perform and one person doesn't know what they're doing and it becomes a complete mix-up in an introduction of a song or something like that, and it leaves me feeling very angry when I come off stage, to be honest with you. And I tend to want to shy away from the crowd, so it's usually after the incident I become embarrassed and I leave, and I'm not good company then.
So,
yeah.
I've been a DJ
yeah.
The backstage, and I know what goes on when things go the other way around.
Yeah.
If you were to be in a party, what sort of a party would you rather be at? A wild or a formal party?
Every party has its moments and its occasion. A wild party, it all depends, because I tend to draw the line when it comes to those kind of things. Formal parties, they become informative at times, and then it comes to contacts and business. They, at the end of the day, maybe a formal party fits the bill for me, because I still think there's a lot of miles to cover in my career. So when I meet people who can give me a word of advice or a helping hand as far as what the band needs to do career-wise, and it's usually through formal parties that I get that kind of experience. And the wild parties, I can get lyrics out of them. I write songs out of those kind of experiences, because crazy things happen and you can start writing about crazy experiences when the time comes. So each one helps one.
When you are walking up and down the streets of UK, how does it feel? Being a celebrity, everybody knows you, everybody knows Steelpulse, reggae music. How does it feel when you're walking in and out of any of your favorite malls?
The streets of UK is probably the most relaxing streets for me, because everybody knows who's familiar with Steelpulse, for example. There's no ego, there's no tripping. You know, we're just there relaxed, and it's, you know, we're taking our stride. So everybody says, oh, there's Steelpulse, and then just go about their business. But when I'm in certain countries, like certain parts of France, for example, or even when I'm hanging out in the Caribbean, for example, recently I've been doing some recording in Martinique, and I can't leave the apartment where I'm staying within 5 minutes without someone saying, ah, Steelpulse. You know, and it's like, it becomes, after a while it becomes, wow, where can I go without anybody recognizing me? So I do prefer to hit places where nobody knows me from a can of paint. You know, with my home ground, I'm relaxed. Everybody, you know, I'm already familiar with my experience, and I can chill and just do what I do best.
Actually, that answers, because I could have asked you when you go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay, as we said, it's like, I do not know, I was in UK and I know how popular reggae is.
Yeah.
But I do know in Africa, reggae is a way big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Way big deal, everything down there. So, what would you like to tell your African fans?
My African fans, I'd like to tell you that we thank you for the support that you've given us over the years. When we initially came out as a band, it was really to enlighten the diaspora, especially the African people, because we've realized that when it comes to the scheme of things, that Africa has been exploited for many centuries, and even after many of them have had the independence, the exploitation continue. You know, alongside Western world countries, as well as the dictatorship and everything else. So when it comes to us and the African people, we started through the situation that we've experienced in Africa, and what we've seen, reading and watching TV, you know, from what used to go on with Nigeria in the 60s, and what's going on in Zimbabwe now, things that have happened in, you know, various parts of Africa, in the Congos, in, you know, Uganda. You know, we sort of grew up and sort of realized the setbacks that Africa has and the potential Africa has in regards to the minerals and exploitation Africa has had in South Africa when it comes to their minerals, and who was running the apartheid system. So as a result, it's you've been the source for us, and still are the source for us to continue.
Every other of your class has been to Kenya, and I can't wait to hear you.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Kenya, man. I don't know why it's taken us so long to get there.
And obvious, as I say, I'm gonna hold this.
All right, you got it. Yeah.
Now, come, he takes us one.
Sons of Kenyatta.
Sons of Kenyatta, yes.
Yeah. Sons of Kenyatta, right here.